So let me ask one more question, and I just would love to get at some memorable moments of digital, because what we're trying to do even in this conversation is really highlight the nature of, we can say, experience of digital is possible, and we've kind of made the case for it theologically and with church tradition and with logic and with reason, but there's something powerful about that experience too. And so we've all had memorable experiences, both things that have gone amazing and maybe things that have been challenging. What are some of those memorable experiences with digital discipleship that you've had?
Well, my absolute all-time favorite is I started co-hosting a podcast with somebody that I met on Twitter. We lived on opposite sides of the country, but we were both interested and curious about online ministry. So we had some conversations, and then we thought, well, maybe this would be interesting as a podcast if it's only interesting to us. And maybe we'll make about 6 episodes. That would be a lot. So we started making our podcast, and we were in a group chat with some other people from Twitter. And over the time that we made these podcasts, that those connections in that group grew, and we were a community. We prayed for one another. We gave each other support. We celebrated with one another. And at the same time, my co-host met another young lady on Twitter, and they decided that they liked each other. Okay. And then they went to a concert together. Okay. And then they a few steps, and then they decided to get married.
couple more things in there.
Yes. And so they planned their wedding across the country and invited me and invited a couple other the people from the group chat. And we had, at this point, been having the conversations about social media ministry for months. And for me, this was a big adventure. I don't travel a lot. And so to go to the other side of the country to meet people that I'd never met in person, it was a challenge. And but I really wanted to witness this wedding. And so I climbed on the plane, and I thought, what if I get out there and this person is a stranger? All these things that we've talked about and all the ways that we've gone on for way more than 6 episodes talking about this is real. You really can build true connection. You really can build real community. What if I get there and I look at this guy and he is it's like, well, it's hello, very strange. I landed in the airport and saw him coming to pick me up, and my heart just went, this is my brother. I knew this guy. And so we had another friend. We went to their, they lived in the same apartments, and we went down into his apartment where his family was coming to visit. She was upstairs, and they were, he was like, well, my family's coming. And his fiance was upstairs with a migraine. And we said, why don't you, he was looking at all the things he had to do. We said, just head upstairs, go spend time with your fiance. And we didn't have any discussion, but all the people who'd come from the group chat from Twitter just immediately moved, cleaned the place top to bottom. We were able, throughout the weekend, to make several different things happen for the wedding, to set up and to make things special for them.
You did what a community does.
Yes, and it immediately, I was vacuuming the sanctuary at this church that I'd never been to, and I wouldn't have been to had I not made this connection on Twitter. And I remember thinking, I am so privileged to be using this vacuum cleaner. And I've never felt privileged to use a vacuum cleaner, but I just felt so privileged to have the opportunity to vacuum a sanctuary across the country, to be able to serve someone that I looked at and knew, like the moment I laid eyes on them, I knew that this was my brother, because we had established connection.
That's good. Well, I think maybe this is even a good story for a transition, because I think this, I would say one of my memorable experiences is very similar to that, this experience of instant community. And that's in this group here, where I don't know, like a year and a half ago, we started meeting around this, and we just met like all together in person, which is interesting language all by itself, but we met in person this morning. And yet it's not like those year and a half of working together on this project and getting to know one another was like not real or somehow insignificant, all of which were significant and all of which kind of tied together with our time here, which I think is just another example of how experience can help affirm what we all know, that relationship and ministry and discipleship can happen in lots of different contexts. It happened for Paul with others and for himself in prison. It happened in all of our lives through the pandemic in a very significant way. It happens for us who are practitioners in this on a regular basis. And it can happen in all of our lives just through the everyday experience we have. In the remainder of the videos, we get a chance to unpack that in a lot of different ways. But I think this conversation just helps us to recognize, and even the people in this room and the community that we have articulates the possibility that exists with digital technology and the possibility that exists for digital discipleship. So looking forward to learning from all of you as we continue this journey together.